Thank you, Ms. Tandon, for speaking with PTI. Good morning. Thank you for your time today. It's a busy week and a busy day for you. I understand a lot of AI things happening.
Well, thanks for doing this, Yoshita. That's a pleasure to speak to you.
Sure. Thank you. As I mentioned, the AI Summit, it's happening in India, New Delhi, February 19th, 20th. But before that, there was a very important announcement, a very important collaboration that took place. IIMA Ahmedabad and you, an MOU was signed to open, and I mean, I don't want to say all of it. Maybe I want to, our readers and our viewers want to hear from you. What was it about, Ms. Tandon, this significant MOU?
It's more than an MOU. We've actually paid the funds for this. This actually is creating a school of data science and AI, School of Artificial Intelligence at IIM Ahmedabad, which is my alma mater. And it is going to be the first of its kind in a management institution. And so I think it's a real milestone for India. The focus of this school will be on translational research to look at how AI is going to affect different segments of management, different functions in management, and different verticals in industrial verticals. And I don't mean it's everything from agriculture to healthcare to education, but not in the broadest definition of that. This really is looking at what are the specific problems. So, whether it's whether it's, management of certain hospitals, what is AI going to do to that? So it's really taking a very micro and macro management perspective, because the one challenge you have with AI is that there is a whole lot of foundational work, which is creating data sets, clean work needs to be done, because many of the tools that already exist haven't been deployed fully in many of the spaces. And so that's what the school is about, creating a school for translational AI. And the only other thing I'm going to say is, because IIMA is already the top management school, and IIMA has already been thinking about AI for a while, this is going to be a great coming together of what is already happening. And as the new thinking is being done in the school, that it will feed into the curriculum and the teachings that happen at IIMA, and vice versa, that the case method and so on, IIMA is just a master at all of that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it came together because of my reunion. I was at Ahmedabad for the reunion. And it was just a beautiful confluence of circumstance, because the director had been wanting to create the school, and we wanted to, my husband and I wanted to invest in that as a reunion gift. And it's such a privilege to be able to do that.
Wonderful. And that's what gave birth to the Krishnamurthy Tandon School of Artificial Intelligence at IIM Ahmedabad. Incredible. And you've listed all these potential and capabilities that the school will offer. And of course, artificial intelligence. It's the buzzword. It's what the world will look like. We are living a lot of artificial intelligence ourselves in these days. So was there a conscious decision to focus it on AI related aspects, or I mean, as you mentioned, it all came out together in a very synergy sort of way?
Look, lots of people have very different definitions of AI. It's like the blind man and the elephant. If you say AI, everybody will describe a tail, a tusk, or a trunk. So there is a lot of definitions. But one has to really think about what is going to be the impact around a set of themes. That's where the value of it is going to be seen. And the themes can't be very broad. Like if you take even a space like healthcare, it is a very broad space. In healthcare, you have everything from diagnostic issues, where a lot of the institutions are focused on, to clinical issues, to management of hospital issues, to public health issues, to disease intervention issues, whether it's TB or diabetes or aging or whatever else. Healthcare is such a vast field. And so for us to talk about AI in healthcare is really meaningless, because it's a little bit like we will never solve anything meaningful. So I think the challenge, and that's why I think Ahmedabad is going to be, IIM Ahmedabad is going to be a perfect partner for this, to kind of be at the helm of this. The idea is to take problems, is to start from the outside in, to start with what are the problems which are susceptible to AI, and where we have access to the data and where we've got the expertise to ask the questions, and then where we can measure the outcomes. And I think that's the approach we're going to take. It's very focused, very targeted, and that's what the school is going to be. And I can talk a lot more about the bigger vision we have of what the school is going to do if you're interested.
Sure, absolutely. That'll segue to my other question also. How do you see the students benefiting, the faculty, the school? So I would love to hear your thoughts on how do you see that? Yes.
Look, we are thinking of this. I'm just going to call this, we're using loosely this term FIRE, FIRE. And maybe just, and I won't necessarily explain these in that order, but education, you started asking the question about education. At the core of IIM Ahmedabad is its focus on education. When it was formed, and I'm one of the earlier graduates of IIM Ahmedabad, I went for my 50th reunion. When it was formed, it was going to be the beacon of management education. It was very beautifully constructed. It was very brilliantly constructed by some great visionaries, including Harvard Business School, Ravi Mathai, and a lot of others, to create a whole new model of management education. We brought in the case method. That was what it was. That's the same idea now. So education is at the forefront. And so I think there's going to be a lot of focus on problems, a lot of focus on creating a new kind of thinker, because we can no longer feed people content. Content is easily available. Technical knowledge is given, but we have to now teach people about critical thinking. We have to teach them about ethical thinking. We have to teach them about emotional thinking. Those are some of the issues that are going to change governance and management and what's going to happen. That's on the education side for graduates that are going in. And then you've got the whole management. You have a lost generation otherwise, because AI is going to be upending many, many functions. And whereas there are managers in traditional entities doing traditional things with traditional learning. So we have to create a whole lot of management programs to be able to educate and refresh the thinking of the middle management. And the future of work is going to be different if you have to create different kind of thinkers. And of course, eventually online programs. So the whole educational landscape is going to be thought through. And ultimately, the goal of all this is to be able to help solve the challenges for India and make it accessible. So if we have great leaders, they can make the better techniques available to the rest of their organizations, the country, the society. So this is not an elite enterprise. Whatever's done here will have ripple effects in the other IIMs and in other institutions. That the last thing I'll say is that I think this is an education issue, and then maybe it's the research part of the second part of it is what I'll say, is that there's so many research and centers of excellence being built in AI in India right now. The IITs are doing some fantastic work. And I think it's very, very important for the country and for these different institutions that everybody clearly and wisely and strategically delineate the pockets of engagement and create very strategic partnerships. Because, the IITs have got great expertise in data cleanup and data science and algorithms and technical stuff. And whereas IIM Ahmedabad, the best of the IITs came to IIM Ahmedabad. So they have greater expertise in management and thinking about the applications of the business world. So I think they all have to come in, and everybody shouldn't fall over each other on the exact same problems to compete, but to cooperate. And I think that is the possibility of the research model. So that's the research part. And the I and I part is what I'm calling impact. We are expecting as part of this that this is not going to be an academic model alone. Because AI is redefining territories, AI is redefining business, AI is redefining society. It's a genie that's come out of the bottle, It's not something we're going to contain. So we're going to have to think very carefully about impact. We're going to have to think about impact on security. We're going to have to think about impact on productivity. We've got to think about the impact on the future of work. And by the way, the other side of him, so academia, business, and government have to come together for creating impact. So I think that is part of the whole, whether it's professors of practice, whether it's conclaves, a whole lot of things are envisaged. And the other thing which is so important to us as part of impact is fortunes are going to be made and lost in this by the entrepreneurs. And that's already happening. We've got DeepMind, we've got NVIDIA, we've got all these, who didn't exist a few years ago and now are trillionaires or billionaires or whatever the zeros are. And I think we need to give Indians the opportunity to do that as part of this. So I think we will have, IIMA has already done incubation, so we will have an incubation for AI, a whole incubation infrastructure, which is being set up as part of that. And the last piece, which is F, for foundational work, that I think is all about creating amazing partnerships. We don't intend to be the institute that cleans up data. I'm sure there are government institutions doing it. The IITs are doing it. We need infrastructure like computing and so on. So we're hoping to create very interesting partnerships with other institutions. This is not, as I said to you, this is not a competition. This is a cooperative strategic strategy for the betterment of education in India.
Right. No, that's incredible. And what a phenomenal thought behind this whole arrangement, the school. And as you mentioned, outlined the FIRE, FIRE, each is important and collectively, I think, has the potential for monumental change. And you rightly put it, the AI is a genie out of the bottle. We cannot put it back in. So we have to work with it together. And what better way than empowering
and use
youngsters?
It to work for us.
Yes.
And safeguards. And build in the right safeguards and give people the intelligence. We've got artificial intelligence, but we now need the true intelligence for people to figure out how to distinguish and how to harness it. Because if they don't do it, it will overtake them. And that, I think, is the challenge we have not as a nation. We have it as a world. We have this in America. We have this everywhere. So I think this is how we have to think about AI. And we are spending a lot of time, and there's rightfully so, there's whole sections of the world focused on the large language models and the linguistic programming and all of that. And that's so important. The algorithms and cleaning up the data is very important. But I think the research around the translational issues and challenges and defining the problems in such a way and asking the questions and harnessing data for that is where I think the real breakthroughs are going to happen. And what we learn in India is going to be relevant to the world in more than one ways.
Right. And I think what we learn in India is also what we're going to see in the next week. India is hosting this India AI Impact Global Summit, the first time it's being held in a global South country. So a lot of areas and potentials that can be looked at. It's going to be a high-level summit, government leaders, a lot of big tech CEOs from all over the world going there. Mr. Tandon, what is your hope for this summit and the fact that it's happening in India? We've talked about some of the solutions that can come from India, but how do you see this summit, the timing of it, and what solutions it offers to the world from India?
I think, look, I'm not putting the AI summit together, but I do have to say, just as an observer from the outside, it is stunningly impressive that we have, on the one hand, the Prime Minister and the government and the ministers and the government who has allocated major resources for a priority that they have deemed as important. And I applaud this whole notion that we are trying to use AI to benefit all sectors of society. And that has been a stated goal of Viksit Bharat and all of the broader initiatives. And it's also wonderful that the money's been put where the mouth is, so to speak. Because the centers of excellence are being set up within multiple places. So the AI research can be really jump-started. What the AI Summit does, which is really wonderful, is that it's bringing together government, industry, global names are all coming here. And the global names that are coming are scholars, they are academics from different parts of the world, and company honchos. So we have the opportunity, and lots of things happen behind in informal conversations, big deals are hatched. And I think this is an opportunity in 2 or 3 days that the summit has to not just have conversations in the formal agenda, but the informal interactions and neural networks that get built as a result of this are going to have some very, very interesting collaborations. Will actually spur a lot of interesting collaborations and innovation. So we are really on the starting point. I think this is a starting point. It also signals to the world that India is serious about AI. And given how smart and the demographic dividend that we have as a country. It's a tremendous opportunity for India to leverage that and give gifts to the world, because I think this is India's learning will not be contained within India. Everyone can learn from it.
Right, absolutely. The solutions that India offers can be replicated across economies, across developing economies. That's because of the scale of what India can do through this summit.
Or if you can solve a set of urban issues or urban infrastructure issues in something so complicated with so much population and such a small land base, you're able to then really look at you're taking on the most complex situation first. So it offers some very, very interesting research opportunities for the whole world. That is the hope. And let's hope that there continues to be a lot more connection and cooperation between everyone, so that the world can benefit out of that.
Right. Talking about connection and cooperation, collaborations, Ms. Tandon, I want to get your thought on India-US ties now, the bilateral relations. You've grown up in India. You have your you have your life in the US, your achievements, accomplishments, and you're an important part of the Indian diaspora here. How do you see relations, if I could ask you, on the bilateral ties? So we've had the trade deal very recently announced by the leaders. So where do you see the trajectory of the India-US relations going? And what do you hope the contributions of the diaspora, eminent personalities like you, should do to further bolster these ties?
Look, I am not an expert on the India-US relations. I'm an observer and a participant I'm American. I live in America. I've contributed to America. So to me, what is incredible about both these countries that I have a relationship with, and I've lived in America for 48 years. So for me, this is home. And India is my biological home. So I have an incredible attachment to both from different perspectives. Both are extraordinary democracies with great strengths and they're both role models to the world in different ways. And I think, and the other thing I will say, and this is something that we really have to applaud the US itself, and this is beyond the diaspora. IIM Ahmedabad was set up because of a collaboration with Harvard Business School. IIMC was set up with a collaboration with MIT. So, and if you look at Korea, USAID set up the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which is one of the leading science and technology schools many, many years ago. That is now, so America has been a very, very wonderful contributor to the world's development, and and the whole world has looked up to America for that. We being here are able to play that role more directly now on a much smaller scale with India, so to me, and that I think is the opportunity for the diaspora, because we, particularly when we are dealing with our alma maters and places where we can actually have an impact. Because one of the most interesting things of being engaged with IIM Ahmedabad is we've had, on the one hand, the faculty, the director, and many of the lead people at IIM Ahmedabad so actively engaged with me in helping shape the school. And then we've had in McKinsey, where we've got several alumni who are IIMA alumni, who's also gotten involved in helping us think about this. So this has just been a phenomenal brain trust that is conceptualizing. That to me, and I guarantee you, the concept that's being created now is different from, is at a level of thought that I think is so radically interesting. So to me, that is what it's all about, the diaspora. It's not, money. I think India is going to generate its own money. And, I don't think India is really looking for money. I think it's more that we can exchange ideas and bring the best of our talent. Some treasure is not a bad thing too. And time and engagement, and bring the world together in our own way. Because we have amazing Indian origin leaders here. In the spaces of AI, in the space of business, the top business schools, the top universities are people with a deep experience in India. Even if they are not Indian, some of them have done a lot of research with India, have Indian partners. So I think we have an opportunity, while the two democracies are working with their dance, and that dance is completely unrelated to my life. But to me, this is the opportunity for us to play. This is our opportunity to do this. And the goal for us is very simple. And this would be my message to myself and to everyone else. What I tell myself every day: we're all here for a very short period of time on the planet, and we have a job to make the planet a better place. And whatever way we can do that. And this is the reason for me, I've been deeply engaged in the academic situation in the US, whether it's NYU or NYU Tandon and so many other academic institutions. Because when you can give people a forward-thinking way into the world, you have changed a generation. And I think there's an opportunity to do this in India with the School of AI and with the School of Business we have in Chennai. So that's kind of what I'm about right now.
Right.
And I'm excited to be able to participate. Excited is even the wrong term, Yoshita. I would say I feel so privileged to be able to do this right now at this stage in my life.
No, absolutely. And we thank you for your efforts and for your contributions. They're going to have a far-reaching impact, and with your school and with your thought, I think that just going to sow so many seeds of innovation in the minds of young people, not just in India, not just in the US, but all around the world. And on that note, thank you, Ms. Tandon, for your time. Always a pleasure to speak to you. And good luck for the school. And here's to many more collaborations across geographies in the world.
Thanks, Yoshita. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.